But we don't show prep, so so he had no idea.
I just barely make it in.
I'm sure you can tell, but we don't show.
I mean, let's put the cards down on the table here.
Miami Hurricanes, yeah. You know the name already. It's Mercy. Ha ha. It's a 6-ring Kane show. Can't forget the name though. Got Jazz, Blue, Vision, DJ break the game code. Ain't no changing them, ain't no breaking them. Real put alive from the Hard Rock Stadium. Ball 14 for the orange and green. We see the 6-ring champs. It's more than a dream. This is life on the field. Beyond 100 yards, a hurricane that's never still put a damage to your squad. The 6-ring Kane show. The 6-ring Kane show. The 6 Rings Kane show. You know.
What's wrong with us? Seriously.
What's wrong with us? We're Miami Hurricanes fans.
Welcome to the 6 Rings Kane Show, a show dedicated to Miami Hurricane sports, featuring the legendary Larry Bluestein, Jazz Santana, Vish, and Danny Gillette. Let's go Canes.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to the 6 Rings Kane Show. Back for another week. Coming off a bye week, so Canes didn't lose this weekend. Always a good thing. Joined, as always, by Danny Gillette, Larry Bluestein, and not Jazz Santana. I feel like you need no introduction, Militia, unless I'm at, Canes greater than bumblebees. That's what we're calling Georgia Tech this week.
I mean, I had to come up with something on the spot because like 20 minutes before the show, you were like, oh, you should come on. I mean, I know I always have an invitation to come on, but I was like sitting around watching, what was I watching? Oh, I was watching the press conferences from today, and Vish messaged me, and I'm like, wait, let me hop in the shower real quick.
Militia.
You messed up her name in the beginning.
That's up her name?
You did a little bit, yeah.
Well,
but
it's Melissa.
Is it really?
I appreciate the fact that she watches the press conferences, because that means at least one of us does. So that's good.
I attempt
honestly.
When I can.
No,
I watch all of them, but I really enjoy listening to Shannon Dawson. He just makes me happy. So I always watch his first, and then I go back and watch everything else.
We'll say our boy Gaddis is doing well up here in Maryland.
He is actually.
Two of the top really 10 defenses are coordinated by Manny Diaz and Al Golden. Like, what's happening out there on the streets, man? Dan Enos is responding to emails that are coming into his school email from angry fans. So some stuff is not. I don't know if you guys saw that.
I didn't.
That is remarkable stuff. Anyway. We got Georgia Tech.
I have his unlaminated play sheet picture in my phone still. I use it on the regular.
But anyway, it was a busy off week. Florida is horrible, which is nice to see. Mm-hmm. But this week's opponent, Georgia Tech, lost to Bowling Green. And then, shuffle the deck chairs on their defensive Titanic by swapping their linebackers coach and their defensive coordinator. So I guess I'll start with you on this, DJ. What are your thoughts there? Is there any, I guess, from a Canes perspective, I don't think that's really much of a difference, like who's the coordinator on a defense that clearly doesn't have the pieces to be good. But is there any concern given, Georgia Tech is looking pretty poor on paper that we overlook them?
No, because I think now this team knows how to win a little bit. We talked last year, and I've said this before on the show, that last year this team didn't really know how to win, or not necessarily what it took to win, but what winning feels like. And once you kind of get on a roll, you kind of get a sense of how to win and how to approach a game. And this team, I mean, I don't think they'll overlook any opponent, honestly, because they now have the pieces to be successful. And you can see with this particular team, all the way down to the coaching staff, they're hungry. And so I think, it's not going to be a cakewalk, but Miami will be ready. They're rested off this bye week, and it's the first game of ACC play, so it's going to be a tough game no matter what, because you always want to start off on the right foot. So I think they'll have the right mindset coming into this game.
What about you, Blue? You have any thoughts on the Canes mindset coming off a bye week? And this is probably one of the easier games. This is Virginia, are kind of the easiest games left on the schedule.
And Boston College.
Yeah. Well, hey, don't do that. DJ's over there. He's got his BC pennants in the back.
They're bad. I don't even hang those up anymore, Blue. I don't dare to hang those up.
Hail Flutie. They the answer, no, Miami's ready. They're 9 days off. What is it? 10 days off they're gonna have, and I just think that they're hungry and they get Cam back and they're healthier, and I don't care. I mean, I watched the Wake Forest game, and Georgia Tech actually looked pretty good, but then all of a sudden Bowling Green, and Miami's going to come out. They're going to put it to them. They're going to do what they did. And you know what? This season's already taken on a bigger meaning because of the fact that your signature win could be a signature win of all time, because A&M is going to beat Alabama this week. They will. They're just going to beat them at home.
Max Johnson looks really good.
The whole team looks good. I watched them against Arkansas. I mean,
they've only given up like 2 touchdowns since they played us or something?
Let me tell you something. That's a really good. And I said that, Vish. I told you when I was down on the field, I couldn't believe how big they were. I said, holy Christmas. And, Miami was fortunate to win the game, but they won it. And I think that's one of those, that's a signature win. I really believe so. They're not going to lose much if they lose at all. I think they're going to they're home, and that place is going to go crazy. And they're getting great play. So, no, I think Miami's for real. I think they're this past week, they worked on a lot of things, kind of like really didn't work hard. They rested a lot of the guys. And I think come Saturday, they're going to especially be in an 8 o'clock game. Why don't they just make it midnight? Jesus. But being at 8 o'clock, I think they're just going to be hungry for the game. They're going to want to put this thing out of reach, and I think they do.
And it also becomes a little bit easier having been the team manager of a football team. I can kind of speak to this just a little bit, not at the Miami Hurricanes level or anything like that, but when you start winning, you kind of approach your weekly routine differently. You come in with this mindset of working hard and wanting to work hard. So it's not only about executing on the field, but it's also about the energy in the locker room and in the team meetings and in the film rooms leading up to the game. You kind of start to take a business-like approach to things, and it gets contagious, and it carries over from week to week and can often lead to good results.
Vish, and also they didn't play a great game against Temple. So I think that kind of was good too, because they came out and said, we got a lot to correct. We got a lot to work on. I think if they would have mauled them like 60-0 and they did everything right, I think it would be a different issue. But I think that the fact that they didn't play totally great against Temple, and then you were there, and then they won. It was terrible conditions. But I think coming out of a game like that, going into an off week, I would much rather be like that rather than be, perfect, because you want to get back on that field and say, hey, geez, we got to right some wrongs there. And, as we know, Temple's not a great team, and Miami should have beaten them a lot better, but conditions had a lot to do with it. I just think Cam coming back is huge. I do. I just just think from an emotional standpoint. And now we know that Davis is a hitter, and that front seven starting to play real well. I think they're going to control.
And Dean
things
practiced this week, so we may get him back.
Yeah. So, Melissa, there's a lot to be happy about going into this. Like I said, if you go into a bye week and there's nothing wrong, you kind of worry, oh, geez, we're going to get too complacent. But this coaching staff is a whole different ballgame. And I've been out there and watched them, talk to a lot of them as they recruit. A lot of them have been out recruiting locally too. And Mario's been out there full force, and that's great, and when I was at the Heritage Chaminade game, the best thing is they're all like screaming his name in affection and not "we hate you."
Not naming any names of previous coaches there.
Exactly.
I don't know if you have any kind of thoughts on what's on the Georgia Tech.
Yeah.
I mean, I agree. I agree with Blue, but who wouldn't agree with Blue? I mean, did we play our best at Temple? No, I think the conditions had a lot to do with that, and obviously having Cam back super important. I think the bigger question is how is Georgia Tech respond to after their loss, because Mario is going to have our players in the mindset to play. There wasn't an overhaul of our team for no reason this past offseason. The guys that are on this team now are Mario guys, and they're bought in. So I don't think there's going to be a question of are these guys ready to play? We just need to execute. But I think the bigger question is how is Georgia Tech's mindset coming in? They've changed defensive coordinators. They just had a bad loss at home. It'll be interesting to see how they bounce back. But I think we should handle them easily. And I thought that pretty much even before Georgia Tech played last week. Their offense does move fast, and Haynes King is a mobile quarterback, but I just think we have the talent and better coaching.
Yeah, you mentioned Haynes King. He was, of course, A&M's quarterback
last
year for a lot of the year.
And that offensive masterpiece last year.
Yeah.
Yeah, so he's a familiar name at least. And then to your point, they've been very up and down, Georgia Tech. So they had that huge lead against Louisville in the first game and blew it and lost. They went at Ole Miss and played them tough for like 3 quarters, and then Ole Miss pulled away. They actually played them pretty tough, and then, as Blue said, they looked good against Wake Forest. I don't know how good Wake Forest is, but they looked good in that game. And then, this last weekend, I don't know what that was. It's like the dam burst on them. The bottom fell out. It was their Middle Tennessee State, basically.
Yeah.
Small tangent. Did you guys watch Ole Miss LSU?
Yes.
Yeah.
That was a fun game to watch. Sorry, keep going.
No, it was.
Talking about the Canes here, man.
I know, but I was just like, you talked about Ole Miss, and I was like, Lane Kiffin. I'm like, oh, that was such a fun football game to watch.
Well, I'm glad we play defense now because I can't live through that every week.
And now FSU's signature win is a 2-loss LSU team, but whatever.
Well, they've also won at Clemson, which
that was a good win.
Yeah, that was.
Who also lost to Duke.
Winning at Clemson, I don't care. That's a signature win. That's a tough place to play.
I'm just giving the same hate that Miami's getting on Twitter because
fair.
People don't think A&M is their signature win.
That's fair.
And Duke choked against Notre Dame.
They did.
That was brutal. That was brutal.
They're saying Riley Leonard's injury is not season-ending.
Yeah, but he's going to miss several games.
It looked brutal, though.
I mean, that whole end sequence just
just
blew that game so badly. But anyway, to this week's opponent.
Yes.
So Georgia Tech, they come in. They're not. I would say their weakness lines up pretty well with the Canes in that they can't seem to stop the run. So, let's go the other way around this time. We'll start with you, Melissa. Are we just going to do what we did against Temple and just try to pound it at them and just run over them? Or do you think we'll be a little bit more open offensively?
I think Dawson's going to do whatever the defense gives him. I think he's shown that. We pounded the rock and ran the ball really well against Miami of Ohio. And then in Texas A&M, they were stopping the run. So we started going vertical. It's nice when you have that offensive line that can block, can pass protect. We can do both. We have a stable of running backs. We have a stable of wide receivers, and we have a very confident and accurate TBD because he's getting protection. So I think Dawson's going to prep to do both, and whatever Georgia Tech's defense gives us, that's what we're going to do.
Blue.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, the whole thing is Georgia Tech doesn't, unless Miami keeps them in the game with mistakes, their pass rush isn't great, so they're going to have plenty of time to throw the ball. This could be one of those 40 type of point games because I think they'll be able to do what they want. And as you mentioned, they don't. I think they let up 240 yards rushing against Ole Miss and like 2-something last week. So yeah, Miami's just. I just think that there's just, Georgia Tech. And Miami's not coming in with that fact because Mario will never let them be overconfident. I can tell you right now. I don't think you're going to ever see if Miami loses, it's not going to be for the lack of not being prepared. That's for damn sure. They're going to always be prepared. I just think that they have 4 guys to run the ball. And that really – I think is a telltale sign against basically anybody because you have fresh legs all the time. And, guys like Cheney and what's it, Fletcher, they're those guys that they'll bruise you a little bit. And then the other backs, I just can't figure why they're not playing Allen that much. Did they ever say?
I mean, the out of the Temple game when he didn't play at all, it was actually he did play quite a bit against Pittman and against A&M, and it was kind of like he just didn't play at all against Temple, and they said it was just we have a lot of backs and we're spreading the carries around.
It is kind of strange.
It was
he's really he's I think out of everybody, he's the only one I think is a home run back. He could go to distance. The other guys, get you those 20, 25 yards, but they're never going to bust away. There's nobody that has that elite speed like he does. But
when Chris Johnson's ready, he will.
Yeah, but he's not. But right now, all Chris Johnson represents is speed. He has no experience carrying the ball, and that's a kid that he's going to have to even learn as much as he's, as fast as he is. You can't bounce everything outside in the college level. You just can't. Because you're going to get linebackers running in that 4.4 range who know how to cut times down, and they're gonna be on him. So he has to learn how to run tackle to tackle, and that's not easy. And especially when you're used to running away from kids, and it's just the fact that some of these kids come out and they're so much better as youth football league kids and high school kids that they don't have to learn how to do much technique. But he's going to have to learn, especially at elite, level. And you look at, I watch Clemson's defense, and they got dudes. They got guys that can run side to side. Georgia Tech doesn't have that. I watch them. I watch the film of them just to see what they bring to the table. And I really wasn't impressed defensively. They had Kevin Harris kid who was there last year, and then they had the linebacker, the what's his name, Kyle Effort. But other than that, they just didn't have. Kenyatta Watson, whose dad used to play down here at Deerfield Beach back in the day, and he's played really good at safety for him, and then now he's moved over the corner. But this team doesn't scare me defensively. There's other programs that may, do something defensively scheme-wise. And as you said, they're changing coordinators on the run. And I just think that Dawson can out-adjust them. So if they throw certain, schemes at you, Melissa, certain different looks, and maybe it's effective on a blitz or, coverage, man-to-man or whatever it is, I think that Dawson could, adjust that to those really easily.
Is Georgia Tech a better team overall this year than they were last year? Because let's not forget, we beat Georgia Tech last year with Jakari running our offense and Gaddis being the offensive coordinator. Obviously, they have a different quarterback, but compared from last season to this season, are they much improved? Yeah,
they are. They got more kids. It's just like almost every game I watch this year, when they talk about here's Joe Jones, he's a transfer. No matter what game, there was like a billion transfers in some of those games. Like I watched USC in Colorado. Even USC had like 18 transfers.
The other thing I would say about last year's game is it was kind of out of character for both teams. Georgia Tech actually finished 4-4 in the ACC last year. Like they were better than us last year, and that game was just like in a vacuum. I still don't. That was the only time we looked good, really, the entire year.
Yeah.
So I don't know what that was. I don't think that was indicative of where the teams were last year, but we might see.
We got back to normal by getting blown out by Clemson and Pitt. So
pretty much, yeah. But we might see a similar scoreline this year, but it'll probably be more representative of the quality of the teams. The other thing, Blue, you called out like they don't have guys, and they are shockingly, if you watch them, down on talent for what you would expect a team in a major conference based out of Atlanta to have on their roster.
Yeah.
So they're drained down, and to your point, there's a couple of really bad rushing defensive performance. They're 126 in the country against the run. So they're basically, I think there's 128 teams, I want to say. So that appears to be a point of attack. But again, I think it goes back to what you said, Blue, that they just don't have the horses there. And so I don't think switching coordinators around or doing that, there's no way to scheme your way out of just getting overmatched.
And they haven't faced an offensive line like ours.
I don't know if Ole Miss is any good or not, to be honest.
They're not bad. They're got some SEC type guys. But the funny thing is, all the fans of Georgia Tech couldn't wait to get rid of Paul Johnson. And he was averaging like 9,000 yards rushing a game. And now they got what they got, which is kind of amusing. Well, when Jeff Collins got there, he kind of tried to switch things around, and that didn't work very well. It's just, I agree with you, Vish. They should have a lot better talent. I'm not talking about Joe Hamilton days or, back when they were, killing people, back in the running days, but they should have better talent, than just being in that area. And plus the thing is between them and Georgia, as far as talent wise, they're always going to be behind because you actually have to have a brain to get into Georgia Tech. And,
it's a good school.
So they got to have kids that at least attend class once in a while compared to some of these other schools, and that's why I'm saying you look at some of these programs, and I know everybody has college education, but some of these like the Dukes and the Miamis of this world, they have a little brighter kid, and and that's what Georgia Tech has. They have some smart kids. It's just that they're not. It's not like Colorado where you can bring in anybody and anyone. JC transfers that probably had like a 2.1 GPA.
Colorado literally brought in everybody.
Yeah, well, they have 98 new faces,
true.
So you're bound to win. It's like playing a slot machine and putting in, $150 at a time. You're going to win sooner or later.
Blue's 100% right. If you look at, and I'll just use this example because I'm up here. If you look at Boston College, their admission standards are so incredibly high. It's very difficult to recruit and get kids up here, along, of course, with the fact that it's winter in New England and it's cold and whatever. But the admission standards are incredibly high at BC, and that does affect recruiting. It really does.
Let's not get carried away here. None of these. When you're talking about like athletes don't have the same admission standards as other students.
But you do see it happen. Not to pivot to basketball, but wasn't there that UNC player that announced he was transferring to Michigan, and then he had to transfer somewhere else because like they wouldn't accept his credits or something?
Caleb something.
Yeah, but Caleb.
Is it Caleb Love?
Yes.
Yeah.
But again. So
we're straying away from where we need to be, right?
Well, no, I don't. Melissa's here.
I was just coming up with an example of what we were discussing.
Right. But that's not like, that has nothing to do with the academic standing of UNC versus Michigan, which are both two of the top public education schools in the country. It was more just whatever the hell he was doing at UNC, those credits did. Like he was probably doing majors that they don't have at Michigan.
I guess it's true coming out of high school versus transferring.
Right. And so there are different admission standards, but like, no one's like actually getting. I guess theoretically some of them could meet the actual admission standards, but there's a lower bar for athletes everywhere. But to Blue's points, it's also keeping them eligible. Like, if you're at Georgia Tech, they're probably making them do some engineering stuff, which is very hard.
I like Tim's comment about the fancy uniforms.
That's true. We'll get into that in a little bit. We'll talk a little bit about.
And we'll answer Jeff's question too. Jeff's the usual on all the shows.
Yeah. No, we'll get through these. Don't worry.
Yeah.
Plenty of time.
I'm just shouting out Jeff.
Yeah. And
He's
then,
a regular.
yes, I know. And then Ronnie, we will do predictions at the end, so we'll see if Blue thinks we're going to cover the spread. I guess we can take on Jeff's.
What is the spread? 18?
19.5. It opened at 17, moved to 19.5. So let's go ahead and take Jeff's question. We'll address Tim's point, the Miami Knights game. It's finally here after 2 years. But so Jeff is talking about, this is kind of focusing more on our defense. We mentioned Cam is back, which is a big deal. But if there is one weakness on this team this year, it showed against A&M. It showed a little bit about Bethune-Cookman to the extent they could move the balls through the air, and certainly Temple threw for a lot more yards than we would have liked. So. Is there any, because Haynes King he was an elite recruit out of high school. He's got good arm talent. Probably doesn't have the receivers to really fully take advantage of that. But is there any concern, whoever, free ball up in the air, who wants to take it?
I think I'll take it. I think the Temple game, we had a few busted coverages, and I think some of that had to do with the weather. We had some defenders slipping, and also I think not that I say people don't give enough credit, but I think it's being underrated, the effect that Cam has of not being on the field. Because he's the vocal leader. He's probably the one setting things on defense. There's always gonna. I forget who said it. It was I think it was on Miami? I don't even know. But like someone was like, if you've never given up a pass and you've never played corner, because it's gonna happen. But we just don't want to see those busted coverages that one busted play where the Temple quarterback just overthrew the guy. I think that was one because of a slip, but that's what you don't want to see. If they get a catch and it's defended well, you're gonna get some of those sometimes. But I think having Cam back is gonna be you're gonna see some of that get cut down because he's the man.
Yeah, I'm not going to disagree. I think that you sometimes feed off your playmaker, and like you said, Vish, you were there. The weather was crappy. The motivation is zero when you're playing a team like that in front of a high school crowd.
There was more Miami fans there.
It was a home crowd though. It was a home high school crowd.
Oh, was it? Didn't look like very many people at the game.
Yeah, no, but it was 3/4 Miami fans. So
Yeah. Well,
between Miami fans and empty seats, they should have felt right at home.
Yeah, I agree.
That is a joke.
Wow, did we just take a shot at our own? That is a joke.
Home crowd? It's like it's the whole family thing. We can make fun of it, but if anyone else does, I'm fighting words.
That was that Herb Street. That was that Herb Street comment before the Texas A&M fans. He goes, A&M was going to have twice as many fans as Miami.
They didn't even come close to filling their own section up. I guess their fans also didn't want to pay $200 per ticket to go to a regular season game. Who knew?
There is also that, yeah.
Vish, I'm going to see you at the next 3 or 4 games in a row.
I think 3, yeah.
Vish, you're going to Georgia Tech?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
We're going to Georgia, and then we're both going to UNC, and then right after that it's Clemson. So
wow,
that's 3 games in a row, Vish, that will be at games together.
Yeah, and we'll see if you remember any of them. But
I know, Blue. Listen, you're gonna have to come out of the press box because I need to get a photo for the Wall of Fame.
Come by the tailgate. Right? We'll be in the green lot.
I can meet you somewhere where you don't have to walk very far because I know you hate walking through the lot.
No, I'm not.
You hate the purple lot. Well, you were complaining about the purple lot.
Well,
so I was
because
like,
I had a cat. That's a hike, though. The purple lot's a whole different.
The green lot's farther away.
Last year I had to park in maroon. That's a hike.
That's what's gross because the lot's not even paved at all. It's just you're standing in dirt. It's like a cow pasture.
Yeah, we were still getting the dust off of the cornhole beanbags at the last tailgate.
So Kermit's got a question comment here. Are the guys back? I know earlier, Melissa, you mentioned Branson Dean might give it a go. Do we know about Mesidor?
They're keeping that hush hush. They even asked about all the guys in the press conferences today, and I don't remember if it was Mario or Guidry. Mario or Guidry, one of them said Dean practiced, but when they asked about Mesidor, he was just like, "We'll see." Mesidor was really the only one where it looked like it was a significant injury because he was in a boot. Yo, my boy Chris.
Yep, shout out to Chris. And then Nigel Leake actually played a little against Temple. I think they limited his snaps there, but he should be a full go now.
There was one play against Temple where a receiver had a big play that I guess Jaden Wayne somehow ended up in coverage.
Yeah.
And that's not his strong suit, but we've seen Nigel Leak drop in coverage and he's made some plays.
Well, we've had issues generally. That was to the running back that was the wheel route up the seam. And we've had issues covering the running. Like, Bethune broke free a couple of times on those as well. We've had issues locating the running back. So yeah, that's something to watch as well. Jaden Wayne also slipped on that play.
Yeah, that too.
Right.
But if you think about it, every game we've played, the field has been wet.
Well, what's the I didn't even check what's the forecast for Saturday night. Speaking of
well, the forecast at UNC is going to be hoodie weather and possible rain. So I'm so excited. If it's a night game, it's going to drop into the 50s, which means I'm breaking out a hoodie, and I'm very excited about that.
That's too cold to watch football in. So speaking of which,
whoa. 50 degrees is too cold to watch football in? Is that what you just said, Vish?
Yes.
50?
No, it's not. Degrees? That's amazing weather. Are you 50? Kidding?
Look.
I don't want to hear it. You know what? I don't want to hear it.
Football was meant to be played in the 80s and 90s with 400%.
DJ, I'm on your side on this one, bro.
No,
DJ, I'm on your side, bro.
Thank you,
DJ hasn't run his fan once this whole damn summer.
I don't want to hear 50.
Oh, the fan's not on.
I know.
Blue's got his fan on.
Always.
I see that. I don't have a ceiling fan. I live in a rental.
That's a baseball for a light I have.
I don't.
All right. Well, to address Tim's kind of comment here. Yes, it is the Miami Knights game. It is 8 p.m. late kick.
Yeah.
So be plenty of time to let's just say
so
hydrate.
Many options for what to wear.
Hydrate.
So many options.
Well, options are in black. It is a blackout.
Well, no. Honestly, out of all of my Kane stuff, color-wise, I have the most black Kane stuff. Not even gonna lie, because I love how orange and green pops on a black background. So I think the most Kane stuff I have is black. So I'm actually very excited.
It is.
I don't know what shirt I'm gonna wear.
If you head out to this day and wear black, I'm running a 10K at 7 a.m. on the same day. It's gonna be a long day for me.
And then you have to pick me up for the tailgate.
I said I'll see. No, I mean I don't know how many people. Actually, you have your own parking pass, so we can definitely pick you up then. Because we only have the one, so if there's like 10 people in the car, that was what I was saying. But actually,
oh, I can drive if you need more space. Like we can put.
No, we would just bring 2 cars and scoop you up. Man, why are we doing this online?
I don't know.
There's a show going on.
What's up, Canes? Today, thanks for recognizing the new hoodie.
Yeah, the new hoodie alert case today. Did not get into the stream and say first though. Very disappointed.
He missed the hoops pod last week.
I know. Let's do some more comments here. Fish fan Miami. Thanks for watching the show. I'm assuming that's a Marlins reference. Go Marlins! Big series.
Oh, I should have worn my Marlins shirt today.
I have multiple Marlins shirts. The only pro team in Miami I root for.
I have the old school black and teal one. That's the one I stick to. I don't buy any of that new merch.
The old
Friday night jerseys.
Yeah.
I like my all teal with the black Marlins or Florida written across.
Those are nice. Yeah.
But I may get a October. They have a new shirt that came out. Was it made in October or make it October or something?
Yeah, but man, the 3-game series like this middle of the week, if it doesn't go well, they'll be done on Wednesday. It's just like by the time the bird shows up.
I'm waiting for Canes to get it in.
Anyway, let's get back on football here a little bit. So Shane the Kid has the comment about Dawson maybe keeping the playbook a little constricted this week if we don't need to open it up. Now we did talk about Georgia Tech's bad run defense. It's certainly possible that we can be run heavy, play conservative, and still move the ball and score. Do you think that's plan A here and to not really open things up?
No, they want to win the damn game. They can't start holding.
You do what you do to win. You play to win the game.
I'm sure North Carolina and Clemson know what you have by now.
You think Herm Edwards would have a better record for saying that, but he does not. He does not play to win the game. So you think this is just the full whatever?
I think you've been off a week too, so I think you're anxious to get things back, and
I would say if they have some some trick plays or some misdirections or stuff that they haven't run yet, they might leave that on the maybe use it in the second half if things aren't going well.
I would prefer for them to not call the TBD run plays. I don't think we need that wrinkled playing Georgia Tech. And God forbid he gets injured.
They're mostly options though. They're kind of his call to hand the ball off or not. When they
he looked kind of out of breath on that 30-something yarder.
I mean, but he has to keep it there. I mean,
yeah. I mean, it was a good play, but it just makes me nervous.
Look, he's getting a hit in football.
They'll hold back the Chris Johnson Wildcat until the big games.
I will
Man,
say
that's when we need DJ Dallas back.
there is probably, I would say, a Jakari Brown Wildcat package that they have that they have not used yet.
I don't see us
He hasn't
debuting
even
that
gotten
against
off the
Georgia Tech.
bench.
Well, no, but
No, because they're preserving his red shirt, so you're only going to see him in 4 games.
Right. Now I don't think we'll see it this week, but I do think there's probably a short yardage package for him to come in and maybe again. We haven't actually. I know A&M, was back and forth, but it actually wasn't close really most of the second half score wise. Like we never had we got to convert this or we're screwed situation. So
they got into within 1 right at the beginning of the second half and got that field goal, and then Bashar returned the TD, and then we were never like, it was never that close after that.
Right. And so my thinking is there probably is, to Shane's point, there probably are some plays and some packages they haven't shown yet that if we're in a tight game late here, they might show, but otherwise probably continue to keep until they have to do it, because we haven't been in these fourth quarter close games where you have to convert like a 3rd and short or a 4th and short where you want to show some new packages. So I do think there's probably a middle ground there a little bit. Is this true? We're actually selling tickets. Well, they were giving them away free if you bought an A&M ticket like a couple of weeks ago. For this was the infamous buy one get one free game.
It is what it is. Even if we were like national title contenders and stuff, this game still wouldn't be sold out because it's not a big time game. People can joke and say all they want, and fans from the outside, but if you go back and look at attendance from the Orange Bowl days when we were like national title contenders every year, those games still weren't sold out. It's just there's too much going on in Miami. Especially this year with sports, there's a lot going on in Miami.
Well, and I think that's what's changed since, because like when I was in school in the early 2000s, we were the premier program in the country. To your point, unless it was Florida State, plenty of good seats available at the Orange Bowl. But I think what changed between that time in the 80s is the Heat, the Marlins, and the Panthers exist now, and so
now Inter Miami with Messi. So.
But that's like that's a one-off thing that
when he plays.
Yeah, I mean that's not. But and also that stadium's small. But when you look at it used to just really be like Canes hoops was gone until the mid '80s. It was just the Hurricanes football and the Dolphins. So every game was what other sports are in this town. Now there's so many professional teams. There's good basketball on college campus too, and it's just like there's a lot of. So you show up and it's like $200 to go watch us play A&M. Yeah, I'm not doing that. It's kind of a lot of people's attitude. It's like
to Chris's comment. To Chris's comment, I don't think Georgia Tech and North Carolina are anything similar, really. I mean, you're comparing Haynes King and Drake May.
Actually, that's probably the place in which they're the most similar. It's the rest of the team. Running? I would just say overall, quality quarterback play is probably the closest together. If you line their rosters up, the smallest gap is probably between their quarterbacks. Georgia Tech's like they don't have a receiver you really have to worry about. Like,
in my opinion, UNC is going to be our biggest test of the season. Not downplaying A&M. It was a huge win against an SEC ranked opponent, but playing a ranked conference opponent on the road, I think that will be the next signature win if we
especially
can
if
get
it's
that.
In the 50s. That's freezing.
Well, it's either going to be a noon game or a 7:30 game. So
I mean, the noon game will be in the sun, but it's too early.
And we'll roast because the visitor section in Chapel Hill is in the sun. I read about their stadium. So
I mean, noon it doesn't really matter because it's just
but
that's a weird stadium you enter in like the middle of it. It dips down into a ball.
I know. I was there in 2019 when we blew a 4th and 17 to lose.
Yeah, so was I. So no one has ever written that, and don't ever say that again. I will ban you from this.
Oh, Canes today.
Come on, man. I think we're all hoping it's a night game. So there is a Syracuse North Carolina game this week, and that's what they're deciding between Florida State, Syracuse, and us in North Carolina in terms of what's noon and what's 7:30.
If us and UNC both win this weekend, I don't see how they don't put us.
That's gotta then be the night game, you would think. But stranger things have happened. Let's do a little prize picks here, and then we'll do some game predictions, what we're looking to see on the field on.
I'm on a
Saturday.
pod on somebody else's pod, so
No, we're gonna do prize picks. We're going to do some predictions for this game, and then we're gonna, of course, do Fat Bear Week. So the most important segment of the year. But let's start with some prize picks. So the sponsor of 5 Reasons Sports and the 6 Rings Canes show is PrizePicks.com. PrizePicks.com. This concept is simple. Pick 2 to 5 players, bet the over and under on their lines, which are for specific statistics. If you hit them all, you get paid. The more players you include in your bet, the more money you can make. And if you sign up for a new account now and use the offer code 5, that is the number 5 spelled out FIVE, you can get up to $100 of your first deposit match. So that's prizepicks.com, offer code 5, that is FIVE. All right, let's go around and do some predictions.
Under on Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah, you know what? I refreshed the screen because I don't always refresh, and I was like, it's still up there, man. I can't help on that.
Aaron Rodgers was limping around on the sideline and that game last night. I didn't realize you can recover from Achilles injuries.
He's not recovered at all. It's
He had some really good.
I didn't know you could walk around. He's 2 weeks out of surgery.
Yeah, no, it's enhancements in the way they do braces and all that. He's cooked. All right, so. All right, DJ, let's start with you. What is your prediction for this big game? Again, the spread is 19.5 for the let's just say the inclines that don't want to do price picks and want to do a traditional wager instead. DJ.
So you want a score prediction?
That would make the line relevant. Yes.
Alrighty. So I'm saying, 35-14 Miami. I mean, I think Georgia Tech's probably going to score some points. Hayes King is good. I mean, let's not underestimate the quarterback play. Like you said, the problem is they don't have receivers or too many weapons, but I do think Georgia Tech put some points on the board. Nevertheless, Miami still gets the victory.
All right, so what was the score again? It was
35-14 Miami.
All right, so guys covering. Blue.
40-17.
Wow, going hitting the magic 40 number. Militia. I did it on purpose that time. If you're here at the beginning of the show, you saw that happen. Or get some.
I was gonna say 41-17, but Blue
so
said
go ahead and say it.
So let me change my response. I'm gonna go with 45-16.
I mean, seriously.
Hey, that's what the Canes today picked.
Oh, I didn't even look at it. I didn't even look at that. Strong work, Canes, today. I wasn't even looking at the chat.
You're
45-16.
Coming like Kentucky, I guess. The Kentucky's got 45.
I wasn't even looking at the chat. So good stuff. 45-16.
What an oddball number for both of you to pick. Let's see. I wrote this on something that hasn't published yet, so I gotta make sure.
How do you get 16? They're gonna go for 2 twice or what?
Maybe miss an extra point.
A touchdown.
No, a touchdown and 3 field goals.
Okay.
Or 8 safeties.
They did switch kickers. I mean, 8 safeties would be the most infuriating 29-point win ever. How do we give up 8 safeties?
What's up, Bill? Still has the best thumbnail.
I got 48-21 here. Does anyone have us not covering? I have us winning 37-10, which also covers.
No,
does anyone have us winning by less than 19?
Both Vish and EJ have us scoring the least amount of points of the season.
I mean, by a point, right? We had 38 against Miami, Ohio.
We got 38.
Yeah,
minimum.
Same difference. 42-17 from Brett. 42-10 from Susie. We got. Everyone's expecting a blowout. Get nervous.
Canes today, it's impossible just to score 1, but I get where you're going with that.
Who's got the cat?
What if it's just 3-2? What if it's just 3-2? 3-2 Miami.
I'll feel not good about flying to North Carolina next weekend to watch them play, but we'll take the W. I don't bet on these games, so it's not costing me anything. All right.
I can't bet on these games. It's illegal to bet sports bet in Florida.
Is it really?
Yeah, you can't. You can't do sports betting down here.
Huh.
Pretty sure I can do it off my phone in DC.
You can do it here in Massachusetts. Massachusetts is strict about everything. Huh.
Brett agrees with me and Blue that we're going to score in the 40s.
Well,
I mean, honestly, how do you disagree with Blue? That's just blasphemous.
Miami defensive end.
Easily.
No, see, when people you gotta understand this. When people disagree with Blue, they yell at me for not yelling at Blue. They won't actually yell at Blue because you can't do that. So
Why? He can
But
do
why
it.
would you yell at? Who would yell at Blue, or
A
who would
lot of
want somebody
people.
to yell?
there
at
was
Blue?
some stuff around the end of the Manny Diaz era where Blue took an
Oh.
unpopular stance,
Mhm.
and apparently I
That
wasn't.
That you wanted him. Wait, that
apparently-
you wanted him fired, or you wanted him to stay?
I just cut him. I cut him way too much slack.
Oh, okay.
And I was taking the opposite stance, but apparently not mean enough to Blue because my mentions blew up. It's like you can at him and tell him right here. He's sitting right next.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know if Chris is still watching the stream right now, Chris Gaffney, but it was a big discussion last year, which is why the 80% theme is like a thing on Coop's channel, because he didn't want Gaddis fired, and he always used to say it's like, oh, because like 80% of our players are out, like 80% of the O line, we don't have TVD, and he's like, oh, I think we should give Gaddis one more year, blah blah blah. So yeah, he got yelled at a lot because people were like, what are you talking about? Gaddis needs to go.
It is
Oh, well.
interesting that Maryland is faring so well this
Yeah, and
year.
their offense is playing well too. I think a lot of it was he was a bad fit and just bad staff chemistry. Like Ponce wanted to be the offensive coordinator.
Coop didn't
too.
say
was
it. Chris
not
said
against-
it.
And Loxley doesn't put up with anything. So
Yeah, no, I think it was too many cooks in the kitchen. That's why you saw not just him leave.
Yeah.
Right. I mean,
and
you
he's
can see
got two
all
of his brothers. So
yeah, all the problem children floated away, and there's now like a proper hierarchy. So there's a lot of big changes to really also not just change the competence, but change the culture. So, I mean, and again, like Penn State's got the number 2 defense. We saw Manny Diaz put together really good defenses here. Shouldn't have been the head
But we
coach,
know
right?
Manny could put together a good defense. He just couldn't put together a good defense and be the head coach.
Well, he should have been. Maybe he can't be the head coach. Period. I'm sure if he keeps coordinating like this, we're gonna find out because someone will hire him. The Temple job should
Watch him win the Broyles Award.
yeah.
I mean, the Temple job is right there because based on what I saw last Saturday, like that they could use a new coach. So maybe he can go back to his roots there. That week he spent in Philly, it's probably a good one.
That was like
I
Manny
definitely
Diaz,
would
Al Golden
stay there
revenge
in
game.
State College and be the DC rather than take the head job at Temple. Believe me.
Well, I mean,
She'll be fired in 2 years. At least he's got job security there.
it is such a bizarre. Like they have like no fans. It is a weird. It's a weird environment to play in. They play in an NFL stadium. There's no one there.
Isn't Temple more of a basketball school, or was that like way back in the day?
I think they're still, if you ask them what the
They
biggest
had
sport there-
Cheney
Yeah, I
back
think
in
it's
the
still
day,
the biggest sport there, but they're not good at it.
Ever since Bill Cosby went the other way, they
Well,
have
let's
no
not touch that. Let's go fast. well, you know what?
I was wondering if someone was gonna bring it up.
And Joe
I was just like,
Klecko,
nope,
Joe
don't say it. Don't say it.
They had Joe Klecko actually like honor day or whatever. When I was there, they're giving out.
Games
Oh, they
today-
did?
They were giving out only to Temple fans like Klecko jerseys, like actual
Nice.
jerseys. That's how few
That's
fans
nice,
they
yeah.
have.
He made the
Yeah.
Hall of Fame, so
Yeah,
why
no,
not?
they were giving out like real jerseys though to like everyone come like it's the giveaway thing
Oh,
That's
nice.
nice. Yeah, that's really nice.
because they had
Also,
only to the Temple
Games
fans.
today, don't put that blasphemy out into the atmosphere, okay?
Wait, what is this? I don't care about this.
Yeah, blasphemous.
It would actually be hilarious because like FSU fans
FSU
would just completely explode and it would be funny. I don't care.
Manuel Soto, I agree.
Well, when he tried to fight Calipari, that was hilarious.
No,
Yeah.
above the one above that.
Oh, that one. Technically,
Yes.
we are a basketball. Hey, man, we are a for all sports now.
We got a great guest coming up this week, guys. Be excited.
Well, I don't think it's
Anyway,
going to be
there's your
live. I think
buckets plug.
I'm gonna.
Oh yeah, we're
off-
pre-recording
off-
it, but still. Anyway,
Yeah.
let's see what else. Manny Diaz was a good defensive corner, but I'm happy with our Cajun boys. Me too.
I mean,
Texas
we,
A&M beats Bama and we blow out Georgia Tech. Will we be ranked top 12?
I mean,
I
we
don't
already
care about
should-
the rankings. I just want
we-
to keep winning.
Yeah.
We already
really.
should be.
Yeah.
but Whoa, Coach L question mark? No, definitely not.
Coach
All
L-
right.
No, it's not Coach. I wish.
Um.
Canes today has a new logo. It looks nice, Canes today. I like it.
All right. We need to do some Fat Bear Week before we get out of here. So, for those of you that were with the 6 weeks K through last year's doldrums, it is Fat Bear Week, and yes, there's a bracket. All right. So, for those that aren't familiar,
I'm not familiar with this.
Okay, I'm going to explain it. This is from the National Park Service. And when the
Okay.
bears I think it's Katmai National Park, I want to say it's in Alaska, but it's somewhere in the Pacific Northwest. When they come out of hibernation, they take photos like when they come out like of hibernation because they're like emaciated, they're all skinny, and they take after photos of like when they get fattened up on eating salmon. And Fat Bear Week is where you vote on the Fat Bear winner, the one who navigated the best. So this is the bracket reveal was tonight. The voting is this week. You can actually, I can do a little zoom in and scroll through here so you can kind of see a little detail. So these are the challengers. So there's 12 bears. And you vote on each, and you can see the days that the votes are on. So you go in there and you vote for the matchups. 4 bears get a bye. There was controversy last year when this one is Holly 435.
Ooh, look at that one.
Which one?
Sorry, I'm pointing and you can't see it.
Well, I mean,
on the right side of the bracket, on the bottom, that has a bye.
Yeah, that's Holly. So Holly, she's won before. She didn't win last year. So I'm gonna go through this in detail. Like I know these bears. All right, so so these are the two. This top left here. This is kind of the junior bracket. 806 won Fat Bear Junior, which was last week, so they advanced into the main bracket. And this is like a young adult 428. So
what's up, Crip?
So these two are going to match up, and then so that's kind of like that's almost like the play-in game to the NCAA tournament. They're 2 16 seeds. So that vote's on Wednesday. Then they're going to go. This is Chunk. Chunk is the fattest bear this year, apparently. He got eliminated surprisingly early last year. This is Jazz's favorite bear, by the way.
Junior is going up like that bear looks like emaciated.
No, these are both. Well, that's because it's a young adult. It's not a fully formed adult yet. So this is the kind of the like I said, the play-in game, and then Chunk is going to kill whoever wins that. Then over here we got 2 mothers. 402 and 901s don't have names, but 901 made the final. This is my bear. 901's my girl. She made to the finals last year and lost. I'm pissed about this bracket because like this is not fair that she didn't get a bye. But she's going against 402, who's another mother. And then this is Otis. Otis has won twice in the past. Otis is old and fat, and everyone thought Otis was not going to make it. Let me just put it that way. Was not going to make it into the bracket. Then he showed up, so I feel like he's going to get a big sympathy vote. So I feel like my girl 901.
This is breaking this down.
Oh no, we're going. We gotta go to the right side here because we're gonna make predictions in a second. I'm giving you backgrounds.
That top one looks fluffy.
This is Granger. Granger is a mother as well. Actually, being a mother makes you skinnier because you're giving away nutrients to your cubs. So, and then 151 is Walker. Walker's had an up and down career. I'm
Googling this.
Oh no, this is real stuff. And then this is the defending champion right here.
I want to get.
This is the defending champion.
Wait, which one is the defending champion?
747, nickname Bear Force 1. Yes, that is the real nickname. And so that is one of the favorites. And
what's the website I go to pull that up?
Here, I will. I will pull.
Can you put it in the chat?
Yes, I will do that right now.
I want to zoom in further on these bears. Blue's like, is it time to go?
Because we're about to do predictions. We are going to do
Not
predictions.
my mind.
It's in the public chat for anyone and everyone to
I can't click on that. I have to copy and paste.
I mean,
every day is a school day here at the Six Rings Cane Show.
You can copy and paste. All right, and then the final corner here. This is 164 versus 284. They're pretty much. I mean, Holly came out big time fat this year.
Who's 435?
Although 284 has a big butt.
Yeah,
284 has a big butt.
284,
but they have no
butt.
chance.
Yeah, but I think Holly is, and so my friend Hopkins, who got me into this a couple of years ago, and then it invaded the show last year when the team was so bad we wanted to talk about something else. She said 435 is like a shoe-in based on overall fatness. this year. I don't know. That is the expert's prediction. I'm still gonna go with 901. That's always been my that is,
I don't know. 128 looks pretty hefty.
128. That
Top
is
right.
that is Granger. And I will say there was some controversy on the bracket reveal show because one of the Rangers started politicking for Granger, and I don't think that was right because it's a vote, and you shouldn't be doing that. But that was messed up. Oh, last year someone hacked the vote. This is a true story, and all of a sudden, so Holly was getting eliminated against 747 in the semifinals. Might get a rematch actually. And all of a sudden, like a bunch of votes landed on her and she won, and they detected that it was done by like a bot and someone cheated. So they wiped those votes away. And that is how controversially Bear Force won the 2022 Fat Bear Week. But Holly's also, so in terms of Bears here that have won before, Holly has won, 747 has won, and Otis has won. If Otis makes it far, it's going to be the sympathy vote because I think this might be his last Fat Bear Week.
Poor Blue. He's just sitting here like, I just can't want to.
This is good stuff, man. This is good stuff. All right.
Yeah.
Are we ready for predictions here?
Yeah, I'm taking Holly.
I was
Go,
gonna say
Holly. All right. Blue on 435. Holly.
I'll take the top right.
You going?
I'll take the top right.
Bear Force 1, or are you going Granger?
Whatever 128 is.
That's Granger. Are you going Granger? Yeah. I mean, as long as we can get by Walker in the first round, because that's like a tough opening match. All right, I got to go with my girl 901, although I'm very worried about the second round matchup. I think she'll at least get through the first round. I feel like this is like Miami getting a 5 seed and getting set to
I don't think that picture is doing her any favors.
Well, so when you go into the voting, and again, the voting starts on Wednesday, they do the before and after, so you can really see the fatness.
Kane's today's piecing out before the show ends because he's like, what the hell are we talking about?
Hey, man, I told you this was the OG tangent long before buckets existed. So anyway, these votes are on Wednesday. These are on Thursday. And then Friday for the quarterfinals over here, Saturday over here. Monday for the semis, and then the finals is next Tuesday. So we will have finalists next week on the Six Rings Kane Show.
And I work.
Well, I mean, the vote's on Tuesday, so we might have to cover the finale on buckets there.
We don't have a guest for next week yet, so we may have time.
Do we not? Oh, yeah, it's 2 weeks. Okay.
That's 2 weeks.
I know, especially because of the Fat Bear Week. Anyway, all right, so we got DJ and Blue are in for 435 Holly. Mm-hmm. Melissa, you're in on 128 Granger. I'm going 901, who doesn't have a name, and I already know. And I have to ask. Jazz will go for 32 Chunk. That was this guy last year, and he's got a good bracket with the junior champion in the first round. So he's like in the final four already. I mean, that's an open draw for Chunk, who is apparently the fast one. 747 did not come out as fat as he did last year, so there might be an upset. He was the fattest one last year, but things have changed. Anyway, we'll have a riveting update between breaking down Georgia Tech and previewing North Carolina next week.
Has our viewer count dropped in the last 20 minutes?
It has gone up. I am not joking. It was in the 50s and now it's in the 70s.
Everybody wants to hear
Everyone
about
loves Fat Bear Week is awesome.
Either that or they came in late and started from the beginning.
Look at this. We're getting comments on look at all of the bear comments we're getting in here. I mean, I'm sorry. Like, we got more comments on this than like on Manny Diaz getting fired. Like, this is amazing. Yeah, see, K-State knows. He even knows the National Cut My Brown Bears. Yes, this is good stuff, man. We are a show for all people.
Maybe they're inadvertently sending us a message.
Blue's like, why am I here?
I'm just listening.
I will say again,
recommend a gambling hotline.
Again, my friend's a Fat Bear expert, and she did like a whole Twitter thread breaking this down. Apparently, it is Holly's to lose. Although the wild card is Otis, because you might just keep getting sympathy votes since probably his last hurrah.
This just broke this down, like breaking down the final four.
Oh man, I was so mad when 901 did not get a bye after making the finals last year and got put into Otis's.
Blue, do you have any thoughts on these Bears?
Yeah. How about you?
I'm just, I'm without words for these things. But no, I like Holly.
We have a troll in the chat.
Who?
I love it.
Who's trolling?
Oh, and you removed him.
I smack people
Dang,
here.
I wanted to.
This is not a
I wanted to-
democracy. It is a dictatorship.
Dang.
I don't play around with trolls. We're not betting on
I like
it.
to have a little fun.
We're not betting on it. So I don't think you need a gambling hotline. Instead, go to PrizePicks.com.
Oh, I had to sneeze and then I didn't. Dang it! I hate when that happens. I was about to
Anyway.
sneeze and then it went away.
Anyway, yeah. So we'll have an update. We'll have finalists for Fat Bear Week. But yeah, you can vote all
Oh,
week
boy.
on the website.
Can't wait.
I know, right in between. I'm gonna go. We're gonna go Georgia Tech review, Prize Picks, Fat Bear Week, North Carolina preview. It'll flow nicely.
So, if anybody wants some late night,
Yeah, you're doing a show. At
Late
10,
night
right?
what?
No, she's doing a show at 10.
I'm doing a
Keep it
show at 10. So
Keep it clean.
catch. Wow, my AirPod just went off because it connected to my phone. Oh well. I'm going on the 305 Sports Now pod at 10 o'clock.
Oh, wow.
I'll
Where do
post.
we find that?
I think it's 305 Sports Now.
It's on YouTube though. That's
It's on
Why don't you put the address in the chat in our chat?
well, yeah. Tweet about it and we'll push it out there.
Yeah, absolutely, 100%.
Mel looks confused now.
I didn't say we were betting.
Okay. My AirPod cut out to my phone, and the audio is way better if my AirPods are connected. So I was trying to connect it back.
So just to be clear, I'm not suggesting people bet on this. This is sponsored by the National Park Service. This is not necessary. I mean, if you guys want to have friendly wagers on the side, you can do that. We are not condoning or condemning, responsibly gambling on such things, but we did not say we gamble on it. But yeah, it looks like Holly is definitely the expert selection. Although,
will it let me post a link, or do I put it in the private chat so you can do it?
I think put it in the private chat and I can push it out because I think it'll block a link that doesn't come from me.
There you go. In the chat. I was like, I might as well.
Need odds on the Bears. So definitely the favorite. I don't have.
I tried to get it back on the Canes for 2 seconds, Blue. I swear.
The favorite is definitely there's kind of three. Actually, the four that are in buys are the favorites because Holly did not have Bear Cubs this year, so she got extra fat. So that's a good advantage for her. 747 Bear Force 1 is the defending champion, so you can't overlook him. Although he's not as fast last year, so that's going to.
Only you covered recruiting like you did this Fat Bear Week.
This is more interesting to me. A chunk.
This is my version of Matt's Kendama.
Kendama. Then you got Chunk, who's number 32. He's got an easy draw, so he's going to go far, and he's the fattest bear this year. And then Otis is the sympathy vote. So those are your four to look out for. If you're looking for someone to make a run, definitely Granger. Got some politicking on the show, so there's some stuff there going on, and then 901 too. Those are your two that if you want to see make a run out of the first round, those are ones. But the experts' opinion is
Are we done
Holly.
with the Bears?
We're never done with the Bears.
Blue would like to be done with the Bears.
I think Blue would like to get off the street here.
Blue wants to watch 305 Sports Now.
No, well, I
That's
got a
that's
baseball thing coming up at 9 or
No,
10. So.
Blue's
Yeah,
way
he said it's
to
mine.
watch
I was like,
305
oh
Monsters.
man. But anyway, I did put.
No,
let me
but
actually-
I'll
let me
sneak
actually
in
share-
there and watch
Let me
it.
actually share this on the screen. So
I can put it on my other screen, so I'll watch it.
Well, this is
But
Melissa's,
because I'm an equal
apparent-
opportunist, you all should catch Buckets on Wednesday. It's gonna. Well, are we doing a live show also? Yeah.
Yes.
But there's also a pre-record with a really cool guest. So Jazz isn't here, so we can talk hoops for 3 seconds. So watch Buckets on Wednesday.
Yeah, we'll have a guest that I don't think we're gonna play during the live show. I could also do that, but then we're just sitting there. So
Nah.
there'll
We'll
be
upload it at some
a
point.
pre-recorded interview, and then yeah, we'll talk a little bit. Both teams up in practice last week, so we'll talk about that as well on Buckets. And then
we have a guest in 2 weeks that I brought into the fold, and I'm very happy about that.
3
Wow.
weeks, 3 shows.
Not next. 3 shows.
Two
weeks,
calendar weeks, 3 shows. Yep.
But 3 shows. Yeah.
Yep. And we might have a guest in the intervening show too.
We may have a guest next week. That depends on you, Vish.
Everything depends on me. If I don't open these
I
streams,
mean,
up, we got nothing.
I can contact this guest.
No,
I can
you
try
should
and
not-
contact
you should not do
this guest.
that. You should not do that.
Who will hand FSU their first official loss? I'm hoping it's us.
Miami. They don't play anyone. We're it.
So
Yep.
I gotta go refill the apple juice before my next show.
I say Duke. I don't think Riley Leonard's going to play in that game.
What is that you're drinking? Tea or
Oh, look at
apple
this.
juice?
Apple
It
juice.
is apple juice.
Oh, look at this. We're getting.
It's such a running joke that Matt and Vish did a taste test of apple juice on the show a few weeks ago.
Oh, look at
Or
this.
a
We're
month
getting
ago. How
Paul
long
picking
ago
for
was that?
Holly. Yeah, it was like a month ago. And then Katma is in Alaska. See, I'm telling you,
I love
man.
Alaska.
I'm telling
I've
you,
been.
like,
I was there a
this
couple
fat bear
summers
thing
ago.
is real. It is real.
My best friend is from Anchorage. Shout out Evan.
Yeah, that's not really Alaska. I mean, way up is Alaska, like Barrow.
Well, he's still
and
from
Prudhoe
Alaska.
Bay and-
Wait.
Born and raised.
There's real Alaska and fake Alaska. What am I talking about? If you're out way the hell out there, I mean, I feel like it's all out there. I think it all counts.
It's
but
the state is bigger than some countries. Most countries.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. All right. So, yeah. What is this? What are
Fish
you
was
pointing
at a
at?
loss for words. What am I going to
Canes-
say?
Canes greater than bumblebees. This is
Okay.
stuff.
Just reiterating it.
Yes, we do think we're better than Georgia Tech. No one even picked them to stay within the spread. So, anyway,
And make sure you guys watch Buckets on Wednesday night.
Buckets Wednesday at 7. Look out for a pre-recorded interview as well. Games Saturday at 8 p.m. If you head out to the stadium, we're black. We will be back here Monday at 8:30 to break down the win over Georgia Tech and look at the finalists for Fat Bear Week and talk about North Carolina. So definitely get out there and vote for Fat Bear Week. Vote for 901, damn it. That's my bear. And go Canes.
The 6 Rig Kane Show. Yeah. The 6 Rig Kane Show. Yeah. The 6 Rings Kane Show. You know,